Hiya. Oh, look at how gorgeous I am today. I wish that would go to fuck. How we doing, people? Shouldn't I be put on clothes and makeup? Well, I have got a new thing that can hold. Hey, evening. What's happening? Where is everybody and what are you doing? Hey, knick-knack. Jenny Bean, why, where are you going? Fuck the cleaner. Yeah. Face Fast Man, hi. Little Hen 33, watching Bruce Lee. Good, Chris. I remember Bruce Lee when he was alive. That's how old I am. You're in Cambridge and you're reading a book. Well done. Hiding for the heat. Oh, Mark, is it roasting? It was really warm and nice in Glasgow today. I was up Easterhouse, Mark. It was fucking boiling. I'm getting ready for the podcast tomorrow. Yep. Hey, Pensive. How are you doing? Is it really hot in LA, Mark? Easterhouse was fucking boiling. Dead sunny as well, and I had on a hoodie and a jacket. Oh, Jesus fuck, that's horrendous. Yeah, it was hot in Glasgow today. Not like 90 degrees, but warm enough to sit out in a t-shirt. I had to tie my hoodie around my waist and put my jacket in my bag. Yep, podcast is back tomorrow. Hazy, hot and humid here. My friend Gordon lives in Easterhouse. Well done, Wendy. Hi, wee Biff. Hi, wee Biff. Hi, wee Biff. And it is hot. It was stunning heat in Wishaw. I know we're getting a late summer. We are getting a late summer, which I like. It was exact same last year when I come back from the Edinburgh Festival. We had a nice September. Hey, Spokane, Diana. Easterhouse was lovely the day it was. Hey, Robama. Well, my husband's got me a fisheye lens for the phone and a long lens as well, you know. An Indian summer here. Yay. Hey, Jelly Bean. Loved meeting you at the show on Sunday. It was brilliant night. Worth every penny. Thank you. Hi, Yvonne. I was going up to see my pal Janey in Easterhouse. Yeah, we're all back with the podcast tomorrow. We've got new music. Paul Boyd's giving us new music. Oh, was it you that was on the bus, Robama? You should have said your name. You did look familiar and you said hello. Hi, Yorkshire. I'm making my pack up tomorrow. Easterhouse was lovely today. New phrases for this millennium. It was actually really bursting with sunshine. Was it a true story? Yes, it was. I've not used the telephoto lens yet. I've tried it a bit, but the fisheye lens is going to be brilliant for the podcast. Oh, Robama, it was so lovely. And I have got pictures of you and I together because I remembered your face. Good evening, Liz Murtry. Liz Murtry. I can never say people's names. Hi, Big Drew. How's my sweet dad? Nice. Can you put it on the back? Aye, I can do it both, Mark. The fisheye lens is going to be so helpful for the podcast because me and Ashley are like that in the podcast, but the fisheye lens kind of encompasses, you know, you've got like a better view. I will see all Ashley's eye rolls. You're absolutely right. That'll be the downside, is that I'll be able to see what she's doing when we're on the podcast. I'll be able to see her making faces and going, She always does that. So the fisheye lens will help. Missing the point. Everybody's missing it. Yeah, that's my washing machine about to take off. We Periscope a podcast and Lynn found it too distracting. Mark, it is distracting, but you have to make a concerted effort to... Ashley and I did Periscoped as our gig in London at the Leicester. Yeah, Leicester Square Theatre, your gig, yeah. Mark, when you're doing the Periscope and the podcast together, and Ashley did do well, pulling a car, what we decided was, sorry, I'm answering Mark's question here, is that we put on the Periscope and we consciously try not to look at the questions that are being asked and try and remember that everything is audio first, because the podcast was always audio. So the people who donate to the podcast don't donate to the Periscope, they donate to the podcast. So the podcast audio has to always be first. Yeah, I hope some salesman, oh yeah, when a salesman called during the podcast, that was hysterical. But sometimes you do get slightly distracted, and Ashley tells me off. I think it's good because she's there and she'll say, fucking stop it, Mum is now looking at the Periscope while we're on the podcast. And the good thing is all the podcast listeners know that I get distracted. So I think they like to hear her telling me off. You can find the podcast very easily. It's been going for 5 years every week. We've had a 2-week hiatus. It's called Janey Godley's Podcast, and it's on Podomatic. If you just Google Janey Godley's Podcast, you will find 5 years of the podcast. But we Periscope the podcast as well, and it can be distracting. But you have to make a concerted effort to not look at the bloody comments. You guys are listening to the podcast. Mark is online, so why don't you tell him how you feel? There's Mark there, LA Tweddle. Cool, I'm thinking that way too. Just live streaming or YouTube. So guys, would you use... It's on Podomatic, it's the best thing. Guys who listen to the podcast, Yvonne, you are one of the best. You've listened to the podcast and you listen to the Periscope. Tell Mark how you feel about the difference between the Periscope and the podcast audio, if you can. You guys listen to it. Do you think it distracts from the podcast audio experience? I think it's just a medium you have to get used to, Mark. You have to just get used to it. And audiences like it. I think the audiences like it. But they definitely enjoy... It's better with a video. It adds another dimension. Thank you, Pensive. Thanks, Janey. I'm off to listen to the podcast. You get 5 years of it, mate. 5 fucking years. I think it adds to it. Thanks, Liz Muttry. But do you also listen to it separately, or do you just listen to it through Periscope? You think the video is better? Nick Nack says it enhances it a wee bit as well, because we can see Ashley take the piss behind you. Big Drew, I think it took it to a different level. Good. But do you also download it and listen to it later? You've done both. Thank you, Pensive. Right, you listen to it on Periscope and then on the app. I enjoy the podcast more between interaction between you and Ashley, okay? Behind the scenes of making a podcast. Okay, that's cool as well. There's a new thing called Facebook Mentions, and if you've got a blue tick on Facebook, you can Periscope through Facebook. It's a better app. I do both. Listen to it when I'm going to sleep and sometimes just download it. It kind of distracted at first, but I think it works very well. I enjoy both audio and video. These are all really good answers. Thank you. I like seeing what we don't always get to see in the audio app. Thank you, Big Drew. These are brilliant answers for Mark. Mark is my brother in arms over in LA, and he podcasts and things. Seeing the interaction is great. Yeah, I think that it's specifically good for us, Mark, because we're mother and daughter, and people get to see her take the piss out of me. I think that's an added dimension, which Lynn doesn't have. She doesn't have that thing where she's got somebody to take the piss out of her. So it might be a different thing. Have you messed up the live version yet? What do you mean? No, I downloaded the Podomatic. Your 5 years will be making me giggle for a long time. Have you No, I don't think we've messed up. We both need new websites. John Fleming looks after my website, and I've got a one-on-one account, and I need... Oh, by saying regrettable stuff, no, we... As you know, Mark, we record the podcast as live and put it up, but we have had to once or twice restart it. We haven't said anything regrettable. That's maybe the Periscope makes us think twice. Oh, Turkey's in the house. Hi, Turkey. Hi, Slam Turkey. You know how you sometimes have to record another one? How would that work in Periscope? Well, that's a really good point that Mark just brought up. Janey's podcasts are a mess. That is the point. Yeah. You and Ashley get pig outfits. No, that's me answer. Thank you, Drew. Thanks, Drew. I don't know what I said to you, but no, yeah, I know what you said. You asked, have you ever messed up? Well, I think that when we're on Periscope, if we make a mistake, I think that 5 years down the line, we've learned not to say contentious things anymore, or say husband's name, or anything like that we don't do. But I think it does add a dimension to it. But Facebook mentions, Mark, have a look at that. It's a new app you download, and if you've got a blue tick, you can live stream, and apparently it's better than Periscope. The difference is that you can't get strangers come in. Or say Cliff Richard killed Jill Dando. No, she says that all the time. Lost my connection there, Mark. I love podcasts, but Periscope is fun, but I'll always put the podcast first. Thank you, Yvonne. I'm glad you're in London, actually. Yeah, I am. Lynn's applied for the tick yesterday. Okay. My washing machine's going to go. Go to Mars, wee washing machine. That washing machine's 20-year-old. It's a fucking belter. It's never broke. Never broke. 20-year-old. Video kill the radio star. I'm off to London on Thursday, and I'm there until Tuesday. So, has the breakaway from it has been good? Don't jinx it. I won't jinx it. But if that machine breaks, I'm going to fucking punch myself in the vagina. It's a belter. Wonder when Facebook is going to open up mentions to the general public. Yeah, it should. It sounds like an angry Doug. Mark, it's a belter, a washing machine. Do you usually meet people afterwards, after the gigs? Yeah, I try and meet people, yes. If you're there, Wendy, I'll come say hi. I'm missing the Bold Alec. Well, I do the Bold Alec. I felt like that's Bold Alec come up today. Bold Alec says to me, do you want to buy a horse? I'm like, no, but you can get a horse blanket in the Lidl. I've been to Easterhouse today, so I've had my Bold Alec fucking top up. My wee dad is up and down. He's up and down. Oh, the Venice hobos are missing me. I know, I miss my Venice hobos as well. My wee dad is, you know, dementia's a weird thing. It can be okay, and then days where he's not. What animal did your pal have this? She didn't have any animals this time. Between an alligator and the bath and pot-bellied pigs is pretty unbelievable. I do love Easterhouse. My old washing machine sounded like an Armstrong. Do you know what was amazing about Easterhouse? Thank you, Big Drew. It was diagnosed quickly. In Easterhouse, there's Gatlock. The old mental hospital is in the background, and you can just see it peek up through because they've pulled all the trees down, and Gatlock Mental Hospital is now yuppie flats, if that's what you want to call them, luxury flats. But it just struck me today that why did they build mental hospitals, if that's the word, which is a horrible word, hospitals for the mentally ill? Why did they build them looking like Castle Grayskull? I mean, it's fucking horrible looking. Hang on, I'll look it up on the web and I'll show you. I mean, imagine you had a mental illness and you had to go to a mental hospital and a hospital for help, and this is what it looked like. Hang on. Gatlock. My mum was in Gatlock Mental Hospital in the 70s. I'm afraid we call it Gatlock Mental Hospital. I should stop calling it that. But yeah. Okay. Okay. That's what it looks like. Really? Yeah. Why do they have to look like Colditz? Why? The majority I've seen were converted into clinics at the church. I mean, look at that. Imagine you had a nervous breakdown and a mental illness, and this is where they took you. Fucking hell. It is horrendous looking. And there it was back in the day. It was, look. Jesus fuck. I mean, that's pretty intimidating, isn't it? I remember as a kid, it was a psychiatric hospital, thank you, that's the proper word for it. There it is there. I remember my mum getting taken, and yeah, Lennox Castle is where I was born as well. Bettsdyke, they were all similar. They were all similar. Looking at you, they were all similar. I remember my mum getting taken to Gatlock Psychiatric Hospital in the 70s. And I remember as a child looking up at it going, I could just imagine crows and bats coming at me. Yeah, it's a big old hollow building, but now it's all fancy flats. Is it not all renovated flats now? Yeah, I mean, Jesus. Oh, okay, Mark. Big love, darling. I mean, it's awful. Gatlock was an asylum, that's what they called it, an asylum, back in the day. And I remember my mum being in it, and it was pretty terrifying. I'm from Shettleston, originally. Jesus, I'm just looking at these pictures, and they are just horrific. Look. Has it not been renovated into flats now? I think it's been renovated. My train went through Shettleston and I giggled because I was listening to the podcast. Yeah. I don't know. There's flats around it. The main building has been renovated. Oh, okay, Robama, thank you. That's a really good answer. But I remember my mum being in that and as a wee girl getting the bus all the way up there. And you had to, the bus dropped you off at the main gate and you had to walk. And that big imposing building. I was petrified. Petrified. Awful. Yeah, the huge drive is the scariest part, you're right. I think all of those institutions, like Lennox Castle and Levendale, were all very, very similar. Right, guys, I'm going to go, but thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow the podcast will be back.